that why you feeling jibadi baby that. No, but since why you feeling jibadi baby that. I'm wondering how that Chipokamlinga over this situation. Because Bakambui is person of friends. Elo Nomba, Vaya Kuchilo, in fact, he went there in his own capacity. Elo Vaya Chikesia Musangosia. Because Bachipokamlinga is not the first minister. Elo Tabaka, friendship, we watched the beauty over the year in a Kadida. And one thing which people should know. Mwamba the moment to post the audio video. In all stand up with the Torokosh. They never differ member. Now, but whoever, at the journalist who posted that video, no could apologize, never apologize. Now, Baba Twitch Rakoteleko, it needs to be clear, no one say post that apologize. Why do they want it to attach it to you? Because they want to make you look bad. Chabulanda, everyone was free. Bamina Bakubara Kambu. It was avoidable. Because you have read the United Nations under the Mandela Rule, Article 57. Together is taken down with this overhead speech. The government tried to local Sako now the answer. The Mandela Rule says when you arrest somebody, as a state that I want to come out with the that. We won't feel Kurasenda, Ukuratwala, Wama witnesses, you could have that. So, Bakaindi, no mistake of Wabo, but in Fashion, Neo Yakaidi, Yalu Fishuamo. Elabatabu Kawana, the Gavadi in the picture. Only you, only Mugankani, Mwamba. I'm a piece of body in party. Body, but so Misha, who ingira kupokelera yakambuliwa which type of way. They had to lie because I'm a soldier that against Bade, they push at the Fumineku party. Bade, although they were seeing, actually from the ruling party, everybody engaged. You want to run in Kanisha, it's because run but because it also happens to me. Now, I said, I'm with what is smoking like it. Monday. Now, to all in that home. You know that I was trained back. We got a voice note, every to conversate. Now, I told you about American police about get from my home. By saying that we have strict instructions, whoever you have to go, community to drink. Who does that you want to move ahead? Yes, I do have to know what you mean because of the Shakira Mwamba. Whoever do God say, Opa do over no feeling now which stop around on their cases. Ukienda kwa lori security kukulondola nekiano city. Iye onino, Mugambia tayari. It affects society. Na marawa baba kwa chabwe abasipati. Zimbabwe kwa tena current. Naba kwa chama right. What is happening? You already specialists. Because like these accidents which are happening, they have been predicted by some prophets. Nabantu Makwalisa. If you never have to pray and reconciliation, or come on, nobody campaign for
Natasha, thank you very much, Madam Mumbi, for calling through. Let's see if we can take some more calls. I'll take some more, and then you can respond. Good morning. Hello, good morning. I'm fine, thank you. Welcome to the Burning Issues Hour. Where are you calling us from?
Chiribwino Mbuya, muri bwanje.
Thank you, Mr. Chikubabi. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming through. 0955, I'll take one more and then I can give you an opportunity to respond. 0955-221515. Good morning and welcome to the burning issue. Your name and where you're calling us from? Your name again? Hello? Hello? Can we get your name? Can we get your name first?
Another issue is this issue that people are talking about of Mr. Lungu being attacked. But why are we standing like this? Because look at the countries like Kenya, the way they are protecting their former president, even Malawi, even Somalia. But why are we so bitter that we can deny a former president the king Mr. Mwamba? So what is your take over the issue of race? Thank you very much.
We didn't get your name though. Well, we didn't get his name, but we'll take that if you are okay with responding to it. Thank you very much for calling. Maybe I give you an opportunity to respond.
Yeah, first of all, our brother Musonda from Kabwe says, why is government, just focused on the former president and the patriotic front instead of attending to hunger, unemployment, poverty, load shedding? Why aren't they focused on bigger issues, but they're focused on President Lungu? I think that's self-explanatory. This is a jittery government. It has no faith in itself. It has failed. And they think that by diverting attention to attacking Emmanuel Mwamba or Edgar Lungu or Mumbipiri, the Zambians will not debate the hunger they have or the lack of electricity they do not have. My dear sister Mumbipiri, usually wherever she calls, she condemns this business of transporting suspects to other jurisdictions. And she quotes the Nelson Mandela rule. And people don't understand why she's so passionate about it. I was also just talking about the matter of Elizabeth Mayomayo from Chingola. She's in her bedroom. She issues a voice note to a Chingola page. Why bring her to Lusaka? Why charge her in Lusaka? The Mandela rule is a rule that comes from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes. And to protect prisoners and detainees, it has issued minimum standards, minimum rules and minimum standards and treatment that both prisoners and detainees should face. And one of the key ones is the one that Honorable Mumbipiri always quotes everywhere, the article on 57, which talks about that you cannot transport suspects away from their family structure, away from where they are. If possible, prosecute them in an area of the jurisdiction where the alleged crime was committed. Even in this country, remember both government lost the cases for Chilufya Tayari in Lukulu and for Raphael Nakachinda in Solwezi. We simply made an application. Even our laws do not allow. If you're a resident in Lusaka, you committed your alleged crime in Lusaka, you can be taken to Solwezi. The way the UPND have been doing, what they do is they will send a complaint. Like why me currently is being prosecuted in Kalomo because the UPND raised a complaint in Kalomo and why me was taken there. And there's another young man that was jailed for some months, again taken to Kaoma. All those processes are illegal. This government is just setting themselves up for more payments that will be done to these accused persons, because both the international law and our local law do not allow what the UPND is doing of transporting suspects to these areas. The last call was from Mr. Chikubawe. No, second last. Mr. Chikubawe, I think, was cataloging his complaint, but let me go to the last one that says, why don't we give President Lungu security? I stand that the former president is entitled to state security. You've seen Donald Trump is campaigning. He has the biggest state security ever even beating that of the sitting president, especially after elevating the level of threats and risks around him. That's how it's supposed to be. This is a former president. He's campaigning against the current president, but the state have proceeded to provide him with bulletproof stages, cubicles, and they've attached a number of highly specialized personnel to protect him. You may remove his benefits, but leave the state security there. I agree with my dear brother, Honorable Mwamba. Has been very insistent on this matter, and there have been other voices that you could be engaged. Doesn't matter what the law provides. This is the only surviving former president we have. We may not agree that he has come back into politics and is currently the PF president, but you can't take that away. That is Zambia's 6th president and is our only surviving former president. So why are you denying him state security? Why are you allowing UPND cadres to attack him in the manner they did in the presence of the police? So I agree with you there.
So let's take some more calls in this case on 0955221515. Call us back. We lost that particular one. Good morning. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Out washibukashani bane.
For the past 3 months, but we were to one position and area before never support it. The question is, we can ask that send an PFC the Ponga Tamara and the protest. Double understand. Let's say this number could never come with. It has never come with when you remember Mwamba, but to Orion Locality. Very one man and we find very more position before to him to Mokula and the Yama tribe. But this is what after the some people over there to overcome. We invite our Mahafia, we never power, no Kubaka, but I never talk about him. Upon going to come and overcome with Valentine Musanto, one son of brothers in our body. Number of Shabbat and Taputi, but our brothers overcome with the so, because of that just that for me, it's by the UPND who are more of a Kampuru and that tribe. And then last year, only the Boni and John Trusty by issue as long as the Poliva the next now on the former post, when the company has sponsor UPND, me and John Trusty UPND, the Puluin American National State. Me when I see the issue, just as this. The fellow political party because of the great which is there. And if I'm on the Benito, Bristol, the nation, Talon Party, what is in Yama reform, Yama reform, the conclusion is that you don't worry about the Milan to Tapu Commission shopping. Tabaya said you worry about the Milan. You said Bristol, and then about our community, the first one I found a former position at and then.
Thank you very much for coming through. We'll take some more on 0955221515. Good morning. Yeah. Batimandani. Ukembe Sanje, please go ahead.
Now come Honorable Musanje Mribwanji.
Kiambia kutimukwalisa kufika ku radio station ya malume huko ubwele olondoro la pamene mfuna kuchitira ziko asembe ndimwe nthawi zino so pamene mukambira kuti mukantri muli pokoso beba asembe tikamba pano so asembe kapena mitindo zangena kubyala mukamo mutaimu ya banezaki aba majournalists panapo tikanda yo government you are there. Kutundira journalist mukamawoziti nomo kutala radio social yamene mbosinga lero yamene muna barandia komene mwenda ukambira timene ukamba iziti nomo lero mutuza kuti muntu kapanga mulandu wapangira kutundu mweze mulandu kwamene waenda kupa babwere bakuweruzire kuno kulusaka Wamene azapasa abantu wamene ndalama zakuti bakwere bebe baja ni milisi baja wamene alabera muntu ng'ombe kuja zingakale ng'ombe bebe zikwere euro zafa munjira palibe vuto kaliko serious Mwamba we muntu wapanga mulandu kuntu kwinango yani iwe amene wapanga mulandu ndovula ukhala kwino osaenda osakwera baja amene wapangira mulandu bakupoke kwamene uliyo silipangako sesya imwe mwaibala kuti mukambwiri wamene mukambako apa munali kumutusa moka mamilisi kunyamula kupereka kukopa vyotu kwamene kuti ipiye mwanali na milandu ingati kukopa vyotu kwamene kuti ndiye kwamene izokala havaende ijira mwanali na milandu ingati yamene anali kuchika atende kwamene kuja kukopa vyotu because he addressed vantu kumake kana liko serious chikukusizira kutendani kwinango na kodera maningi chifua yakusira mwapomera kuti waliona video yamene anali kumenyewa hakainde na nyara yamene kunali kukana time yani munali kukana kuti chizi la chitike lero mwapomera kuti iwoti video inachitika kuserenje muzilo la press na area mulungu akutali seri chifukwa yakuti tumenezo kamba kuti mumenya vanhu mumbulokinga vanhu nama helikopita mutema mnyara mwenzokana so mulungu akutali seri alawazi turumverera one Zambia one nation koma mutalewa jabe kwino wasapulika muone kwino arainde alawazi mukakuya maningi simuzafika kumapeto mungu akutali seri
Zikomo Sanje. One more and then I'll give you an opportunity to respond on 0955221515. Good morning. We lost the callers back if you can on 0955221515. Good morning. Not too bad, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from
Mwansa Brian.
Yes.
Please go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is, the Bible says that do good unto others and you want them to do good unto you. If we talk about the past, yes, things are also another part. When we talk about Diriga and Samantha and Diriga other guys, it's not on this earth, it's not everyone who can do everything perfect. The PF did their part. There are some things which they are not good. Also, the UPS also, they are doing the right thing. The other things, they are not doing the right thing. So we must need to, we are called the Christian nation. We need to learn from the word Christian nation. What does it mean? I ran out of the road. If I did something wrong to you, Brother Lumingo, I need to come to you quickly and say, please forgive me, and we walk in one way. Not what is happening. Today, the people, the Europeans, when they come out, things will be another way again. So, if a spade is spade, we need to call it a spade. But otherwise, I can say this is what I had to share.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming through, Brian. Mr. Mwamba, you can react to the concerns.
Yeah, I agree with the first caller that talked about load shedding and how it has affected our country and how people that have loans, their businesses, they are literally collapsing. And he says the UPND promised that there will be peace, that there will be development, that there will be no load shedding. And he was wondering how GBM, who helped take the UPND to areas where UPND was not strong, Shimbakambwili, who helped take UPND where they were not, are the ones that are now suffering on this. And he says he's going to court, can be placed on the UPND government. And he's right. Shimbakambwili was jailed for 5 months over hate speech in Kasama, alleged hate speech. He appealed against that case. But what is surprising is the appeal by the DPP, who are demanding a longer sentence against Shimbakambwili. When the tragic and fatal accident occurred, Shimbakambwili was going to High Court. The High Court had already heard the appeal within a period of 1 week, and he was going for judgment. And his brothers went therefore to support him because it wasn't a normal hearing. He was going for judgment. And I have seen, even while I was at the funeral, a lot of people put the blame on government, that they are palpable, they are complicit in this death because they are trying people in places where they shouldn't be trying, and they are very vengeful in the manner they are applying the law. Like in this case, the DPP applied for a longer sentence than the one that was given by the magistrate court of 5 months. Our appeal has been very consistent. Follow the law. Follow the rule of law. Don't take Nakachinda to Solwezi. Don't take Chilufya Tayali to Lukulu. Don't take Elizabeth from Chingola to Lusaka. Try them in their areas. Don't manufacture complaints of UPND cadres in Kalomo. You take people and they are jailed there without family, without party, or any friend support, and they are isolated. People might even forget about the young man Waini, that his trial has been going on and in Livingstone. This is someone from Mufulira. He issued this video, he's a vlogger. He issued this video in Mufulira. Why is he being tried in Livingstone? And like Honorable Mumbipiri clearly stated that this is against international rules, the Nelson Mandela rule, under the United Nations treatment of prisoners and detainees, that you have to allow the suspects to be in the jurisdiction, especially where their family is. Don't, unless you have a proper reason to remove them from that jurisdiction. The last one, our dear brother was talking about that we have to be good to one another. He says, if the PF did you bad, don't return bad with evil. Be better, and is right. And the same things that the UPND are doing to us, doing to opposition, will likely visit them when they leave power. And he says, when will this cycle end? And I agree with him. We are celebrating a Diamond Jubilee. We are 60 years as a country. It should be an opportunity to reset the button, to start afresh. Do clean politics. Do politics that they unite the country, that foster national development. Do politics that are not tribal, that are not regional. Abandon corruption. Abandon all these petty issues that we've been preoccupied with in the last 60 years. Can't we? And this is now a baton that is changing from one generation to another. The President Hakainde Hichilema will likely be the last president that was born before independence to rule us. Going forward, we will likely have young people that were born after independence to be our presidents. Why can't we do our politics totally different? And this is a call for this young man. And for me, this is momentous, especially that we're in Independence Week. We are 2 days away from commemorating our 60th anniversary, our Diamond Jubilee. We've expressed disappointment that this government didn't do a series of events to demonstrate how important this event is. But we understand they have no money. The funding is little. They are barely breathing. Salaries are coming late. If it were not the intervention that they've received from drought, maybe the economy, we don't know where it would be. So they put importance to unnecessary things. Edgar Lungu is appearing in the Supreme Court, on the Supreme Court grounds there in the Constitutional Court. They will bring 1,000 police officers, numerous vehicles to transport that, very heavily armed personnel to encircle the entire place. It becomes a no-go area. Why so much money? Why allow the police to spend money they do not have? When we're in Chingola, again, you see a huge deployment of the police. Totally unnecessary. Here, a former president is being attacked, and they're standing hands akimbo, ignoring the attack and the risks that have been put under the president. So we ought to do things differently. We need to demonstrate that we've learned from our past, that we have to abandon our past mistakes and forge ahead. You cannot have a country perpetually begging, whose economy is in foreign hands, whose wealth is in foreign hands. And we are beggars and bystanders to our own economy, to our own livelihoods, and we remain poor. Not because we are poor as a country, but we are one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Yet we remain poor because of policy and petty politics, engaged in arrests after arrests, engaged in brutalizing the opposition, reducing the democratic space, abusing parliament, abusing the judiciary. we need to reflect and start afresh.
Well, 0955, I'll take the last batch of calls on 0955-221515. I'll take the last 4 calls. But before we do that, I would like your reaction on the fact that Patriotic Front faction president in Mwamba has warned the former president, Edgar Lungu, not to masquerade as PF president. And this is obviously a statement that we've heard before, but also it brings about a lot of questions, because at some point everybody else thought that the two had reconciled, and obviously there's a plan to save the Patriotic Front. Alas, it looks like it's even more divided.
We are determined to restore the status of the Patriotic Front to its original status before State House interfered. We are determined that the Patriotic Front should belong to its legitimate owners. We have always stated publicly that Mwamba is not PF president. It doesn't matter how many certificates they give him, the state gives him. It doesn't matter how many certificates that they give to Robert Chavinga. The two are not PF presidents, they are not part of the PF leadership. In fact, at the time they were committing these illegalities, they were both suspended. They know our PF laws, they know the PF statutes, they know the PF constitution, and they know that what was done was illegal. Just because the state is helping them doesn't make them. The party is about our people. Our people remain loyal to the leadership of President Edgar Lungu and all of us. You saw in Chingola, you've seen wherever Edgar Lungu goes, the party remains very intact. The legal status might say otherwise. It's like your house, Zach. You go to Europe and you come back and you find someone is masquerading as the owner. They even have title deeds. It doesn't take away that that's your house and that you didn't sell it. What remains in between is a process to restore the original status, where you go to court, you demonstrate that this is your property, you demonstrate that the change of titles was fraudulent, and that there's a huge attempt to steal this property that belongs to you by these masqueraders. This is what has happened to the Patriotic Front. The Patriotic Front remains the Patriotic Front. There's been an attempt by the state to destabilize the opposition, to destabilize the Patriotic Front by taking away its legitimacy and handing out certificates and office bearers to some other people. That fight will continue, but if you believe in democracy, you believe in the rule of law, and if you believe in the multi-party character of our country, what has been done to the PF is a criminal offense, and it goes to undermining our very constitution and the multi-party character of our country, and it should not be accepted. We'll keep on fighting.
Yeah, let me take the last batch of calls. Good morning. How are you today? Fine, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from? Mr. Mwamba from Kawe.
Good morning, Mr. Mwamba from Kawe.
People are complaining about the distance in their cases. Coming to issues that you are talking about on radio, I think you politicians are the ones that bring confusion. You are not straight in whatever that is true. That all our politicians will understand we have seen people changing cars from blue to black, black to red. We have seen politicians changing their another is party or more like a one hour more like the next day is party. So you people are making to track. You know what they take you from and you are the ones that are making progress to go forward. You broke progress, nobody in our people to start. In your time of ruling in the PF, we saw just a lot of calamities, what we are doing now, what we are going through.
We have several videos of how people have been blocked, and lots of things that happen. If you have to send around to a flower, I am going to in your time, what things are happening. Cyber crime, in at your time when you were in town, my mother used to do, JPNC was the nearest to that law. And you know that we're not more than a son. We're not broker. Why we are in that? If you go to reach 10 years for Facebook, you cannot like it. I'm wondering how you are feeling sympathy to like this yourself, to what social media you have yourself. Why is it like that? You see, what's too much is saying about the one that you want?
Thank you, Mr. Mwanza. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mwanza, for coming through. 0955-221515. That's the number you're calling us on. We'll take another one. Good morning. Mkwai ma Bombashan. Ativanishina. Ativani ya kubala. Clovis. Konkanya ni pawa Clovis.
Challenge part one issue. You can take about UPND. By UPND, someone going to crazy. We were PF. After you are Escarungo. Somebody wonders, so then a Gambia. So then I got the two German sheets. We have to have the dollar. Amabunga Trish, Amatri Fiske, Kumbimatri, Kumbimapo. Mamma, Marungo, we cannot compare. Time never taking Swadiba opposition leader. Barubari president, we cannot compare. Sonja Monaco and the Wolfon Dili, Nobutu, we cannot compare. Mr. Lungo is a former president of the Republic of Zambia. You see the man is tough. I'm going to tell you but it's no bomba. I'm going to say, I'm going to say, about the popular speech in Lungu, the popular speech in Lungu, the popular PMG. Ishimi Sangueshi, Papifuka, Papu Bondera, you put women at Zambia. I'm a promise of a promise, they don't like way. 126, to let the Cabarea. Abbiamo uno che poi sapere quadro da qua e quando faccio scaripa perché il mare buttana o butta non tieni dire butta avanti le dire padana
Ratasha Bakrovis.
Agarelo maschio abbiamo because of feel what I did.
Ratasha Mkwai. Let me take the last two on 0955-221515. That's the number you're calling us on. Our guest is Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, who is the Patriotic Front Chairperson for Information and Publicity. Please call us on that number if you'd like to be a part of the conversation. And again, the number you're calling us on is 0955-221515. Good morning. Morning to you. How are you? Indeed, long time. I'm saying long time. Welcome.
Thank you so much. First of all, let me thank you, Mwamba, for your soberness. Those that know what has happened in this country about the family, and to hear him speak in such a sober manner, we are most grateful to you for that kind of leadership. It is also my deliberate intention here to thank all members of the PF who have exhibited that kind of leadership. You know, from the time the UPND came to power, they came on a platform of vengeance, which is most unfortunate in leadership. We are actually members of political parties
in the opposition, we've heard strange pronouncements. They cannot hold their rallies. For the first time, for the first time in the history of this country, to hear such kind of pronouncement, that this party cannot hold their rallies. Very strange things that we are seeing, that we are hearing. It's most unfortunate because, as you said, HH is the 7th president, and he has seen all the presidents that we've talked about here. He saw them when they were in power, but he has not been able to copy certain good things from our party president. He has not been able to do that. If someone we all see as someone who thinks knows it all. However, my contribution is that Honorable Mwamba, I think, let us actually hold on to our party, the PF, under UCA. Let us not fear these things. I think that stems from statement. Zambians are now more than they were a few years ago. They know what is happening in this country, and they know what is going to happen in the next election. Because it's not anything that can talk to anyone now. Everybody is seeing what is happening with this political party. There are strange things happening in this political party that people are actually pushing to say. Even in the most remote part of this country, people are questioning this party. Finally, what I want to say is, are you not surprised, Mr. Mwamba, that for any case before our courts of law that is connected to the president or where President Hakainde has been mentioned, this victory is always delivered for him? What is happening to our courts? What are these judges for? Have they all been revoked? This is shameful.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senior Citizen Fano Mwangala. I'm taking the last call now on 0955-221515. And good morning. I'm very well, Brother Chisha. How are you?
Very well, my brother. How are you?
Great.
Very well, Brother Chisha.
Thank you. Previous caller. You have explained the issue very, very well, Honorable Mwamba.
Thank you.
I'm just going to ask you a question. Since we are under the government of Ingala, we have get from the mouth of the president, we are going to apply Ingala to our Nogla Center of caution. As people belong to the opposition, what kind of measures are you putting in place in terms of those Ingala because the way the court of mandating judges being fired, don't you think it's part of the thing that we have read about? And if the answer is yes, we have to remain with few days for the general election. What measures are you putting in place so that you are going to cry each and every time these things are being applied by people in government? Because for me, I've seen institutions being killed in Zambia. They are not operating independently. We talk of society. It's no longer independent. We talk of this. We have seen people who are belonging to together from this there. What are you doing about it as a party, as people in opposition, to make sure that you put this together so that you avoid an unnecessary crime in 2020?
Thank you. Thank you very much. You are our last caller, by the way. Thank you, Brother Chisha, for coming. Mr. Mwamba, unless you have anything to respond to.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me start with Brother Chisha and answer an earlier questions of Mingalato and the Electoral Commission of Zambia. He has pointed out this is the first time that the institution is being led by a non-judge. This one has always been led by a judicial officer, in many cases, a Supreme Court judge. You know, from Judge Bwalia up to the last Justice Chulu, they all have been judges. This Mwangala Zalumis is the first non-sitting justice that is presiding over. West Hill, she's a non-UPND cadre. And our dear brother, McDonald Chipenzi, well-known UPND cadre, they are in the commission. And he's saying, what are you doing about it? Aren't you worried that elections are pre-rigged? We are sounding warning that President Hakainde Hichilema is very determined to actually complete the process of rigging elections now. President Lungu, in his last address, talked about the lack of transparency in voter registration, NRC issuance, secret NRC issuance, and the people manning it. Then you have the Electoral Reform Technical Committee, a body that should be appointed by the president. Mwangala Zalumis has appointed one. She doesn't have powers. She wants the Electoral Reform Technical Committee to look at laws and the constitution that are required, clauses that are required for amendments. What powers does she have? What mandate does she have? She is a creature of the constitution. She can't reform herself. That's a role of Zambians, either through the president or through the Zambia Law Development Commission. They're the ones under the law. The president can invoke the Inquiries Act to attempt then to inquire into the challenges facing the Electoral Reform, the Electoral Commission of Zambia. It is not up to the office holders to do that. What Mwangala Zalumis is doing is illegal. She cannot reform that organization. She's a mere employee of that organization. I've never seen an employee a gardener begin to pace around that. I don't like the offense. I don't like the door where it is. I think I'm going to change the door. Iwe, Nweani. That's what Mwangala Zalumis is doing. What she's doing under the ERTC is totally illegal. And he has asked a fundamental question. Clearly, that President Hakainde Hichilema is determined to pre-rig the elections even before we have these elections. What are we doing about it? I would throw that question to all of us in the opposition. That what should we do to ensure that we guarantee free and fair elections, to guarantee that we'll have peace and security before, during, and after elections. You have Nelly Muti, the Speaker of the National Assembly, who's also attempting to begin to reform the Constitution under what she's calling non-contentious clauses. Who is Nelly Muti to attempt to amend the Constitution? That's not our role. This is a role of the people through the executive, who should either appoint a constitutional reform committee or technical committee, who should then recommend through a widespread consultative process. You come up with clauses that should be amended. The manner they want to amend the Constitution, through ECZ and through Parliament, is totally illegal, it's illegitimate, and it should be stopped. It should be stopped. That's a call to us, the opposition. Don't come and cry in 2026. See what is happening to your register, to the regulations, and to the law now, and stop it now. Don't come and cry foul in 2026. It may be too late. Mr. Mwanza from Kabwe said, you people, you the politicians, the very thing that was happening under the PF is also now happening under the UPND. You never learn. You're just one and the same people. Mr. Mwanza from Kabwe, I agree with you. We never learn from our past mistakes. Probably it's time, like Donald Trump says, to drain the swamp, foster a new leadership so that people can look at what Zambians want and abandon this vengeful approach to politics. What you have is Hichilema paying back. Can you imagine dismissing judges who passed a sentence against you in 2016? You dismiss them 10 years later when you have the powers. What kind of vengeance is this? What kind of actions are these? Is that in the interest of our country? Can you question the the qualification of a sitting judge? Can you? Where was the appointment? What was Parliament ratifying? What happens to all the judgments they made? What ridiculous and lawless approach is this? You know, Clovis from Mtendere says also that, look, the country is in a crisis. Why are you concentrating on Edgar Lungu and on the patriotic front? And he's right. He says, why don't you look at the price of millimil? Because our people can't afford it. And he's right. Senior citizen Honorable Fanuel Mwangala, thank you for the commendations. And he has also expressed concern that UPND and the President, Hakainde Hichilema, are just determined to foster vengeance and dictatorship. And is urged us, the Patriotic Front, to hold on to the Patriotic Front and to forge alliances to ensure that we are strong in 2026 to stop the re-election of President Hakainde Hichilema. I think with those few remarks, I think I have attended to all the concerns.
Yeah. And your concluding remarks.
Zach, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. We commiserate with you and the media under the circumstances you are working, where you have to operate 24 hours and yet we only have power 3 hours. Currently, ZESCO is exporting power to Botswana in the day. You can only have power in the night, and they issued a statement to that effect. They don't care about the state of our economy. Zambians will only have power in the night after they are done exporting power to Botswana and Namibia. That's the type of government you have. So I'd like to thank you for the opportunity you gave us to express ourselves, our sincere condolences, official condolences to Honorable Shimba Kambwili on the loss of his two dear brothers, Pastor Mtale Kambwili and Elder Mwamba Kambwili. We are with you as a family and we wish you God's strength. To the people of Zambia, we need prayers and prayers and prayers. The season we are in is terrible. You have a government that doesn't look at your needs. It's looking at destroying the opposition, arresting the opposition. It's not concerned about your welfare, your lack of water, your lack of electricity, your lack of food. They're not concerned about that, and they've demonstrated that in their budget, in their rhetoric, in their programs, and in their actions. The food for work program fostering, they should learn from the push program that used to happen when we had that one of the worst droughts in 2003. The push program that was fostered was across political parties. It was not a UPND issue. We have seen in townships and complaints where only the beneficiaries are not members of the community, but first they ought to declare their loyalty to the UPND. That is very sad. That little money should help to go and affect. In Salata Isala, the drought didn't choose. The rain didn't say this is a PF home, we'll put water. This is a UPND home, we'll not put water. It was across. Everyone is affected. And we should depoliticize those programs, remove partisan conduct, and allow our communities to benefit. To members of the Patriotic Front, remember this is a difficult period for us, but we need to remain united in the manner we've remained united so far, despite the consistent and relentless attack on the leadership of President Lungu, on ourselves, the arrests, the harassment, the imprisonments, the long detentions. Let us endure. Zambia will rescue this country. And lastly, let us reset that button. Zambia is now 60 years old. We should behave as such. We can't conduct our politics in a vengeful manner, in the manner we are doing. We ought to foster peace, security, and national development. We ought to promote democracy and tolerance. We ought to allow the media to thrive. We ought to abandon laws such as the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Act, reform the Public Order Act, reform all these laws that are taking us back, and restore the economy in Zambian hands. You cannot develop if your entire economy is with foreigners. They are developing their countries. God bless you. God bless you, Zach, and God bless our country. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you very much, and God bless you too. Thank you very much to our partner radio stations, of course, Tuta FM, for carrying this program live.